Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down the glorious manga chapter by chapter, and today we have hit chapter 121, I Knew.
And what a chilling title that turns out to be. A moment of dawning horror and righteous fury, all contained in two simple words.
Chilling is the word for it. We thought Baroque Works was just a ruthless assassination guild, but this chapter, Oda introduces a whole new level of twisted. We're talking about a villain whose ultimate goal is to turn our friends into a permanent, horrifying art installation.
A collection of wax statues. It's a threat unlike any they faced. It's not about being beaten or killed in the heat of battle. It's about being erased, petrified, and remade into a trophy for a narcissistic madman. The ultimate act of control.
Exactly. It's personal, it's weird, and it is a perfect setup for a massive Straw Hat rescue. This is the kind of thing that gets your blood pumping, you know? If you want to be part of our crew's collection of Nakama, make sure you're following the show wherever you listen. You don't want to miss the moment these creeps get what's coming to them.
Let's get into it. The chapter picks up right in the aftermath of that explosion.
Right. Mr. Five and Miss Valentine have Vivi. They're standing over Luffy, who just took a point-blank explosion to the face, and Mr. Five is actually surprised he's even conscious. The paneling is great. You just see Luffy sitting there, smoking a little, with this completely unfazed look on his face.
It's the first clear sign that these officer agents are operating on a completely different level of understanding than the Straw Hats. They have their bounty numbers, their devil fruit classifications, and they think that's all there is to it. Luffy, as a 30 million berry rookie, shouldn't be able to just shrug off a point-blank blast from Mr. Five's Bomu Bomu no Mi.
But he's not a normal person. He's a rubber person. The blunt force of the explosion probably gets diffused all to hell by his body. It's like trying to blow up a tire with a cracker. Sure, it makes a pop, but the tire's mostly fine. And Mr. Five, this guy's whole deal is taunting. He doesn't have another gear. He leans down and tells Luffy they've also captured Nami and Zoro. He's trying to break his spirit.
This is a fundamental miscalculation rooted in the Baroque Works philosophy. They operate on fear, deception, and breaking their opponents psychologically. They assume everyone else operates on the same principles. The idea that telling a captain his strongest crewmate has been captured might not induce despair is literally foreign to them.
The biggest miscalculation of their lives, because Luffy just smiles. He gets this wide, confident, almost pitying grin on his face and says something that is just pure, uncut, 100-proof Straw Hat energy. He says if they have Zoro, then they're the ones in trouble.
It's such a perfect character moment, and it speaks volumes about their relationship. It's not arrogance, it's not a bluff, it's his absolute unshakable faith in his first mate. It's a foundational truth of his world. The sky is blue, the sea is salty, and Zoro is a monster who can handle himself. Unshakable. He has zero doubt. It's not even a question in his mind. He knows as a matter of cosmic fact that capturing Roronoa Zoro is not a victory. It's a terrible, terrible mistake you've just made.
It's the kind of trust that defines their entire crew. We saw it when he went to sleep during the fight with Don Krieg, trusting Sanji to handle Pearl. But this is different. This is him, beaten and on the ground, placing his faith in someone else's strength entirely.
It also defines Luffy's captaincy, which is so unique in the world of pirates we've seen so far. He doesn't see Zoro as a subordinate he needs to protect, or a tool he needs to command. He sees him as a fellow monster, a partner in his dream who is fully capable of saving himself, and probably everyone else too. He doesn't want underlings, he wants allies who are as monstrously strong and determined as he is.
You just know Mr. Five does not get it. He's looking at Luffy like he's grown a second head. This guy is a cog in this big, impersonal, corporate-structured machine of Baroque Works. He understands hierarchies and orders. He doesn't understand a bond like that, a bond forged in a shared dream and mutual respect. So he does what he always does when he's confused or his ego's bruised.
He makes something explode.
Luffy just keeps insulting him, calling him Booger Man, and pushing every single one of his buttons, until Mr. Five loses it and just bombs him in the face again. It's a tantrum. He can't win the battle of wills, so he resorts to the only thing he knows. And this time, it does knock Luffy out cold. They grab Vivi and leave.
leaving behind a barely conscious Luffy, Usopp, and Karoo. They consider them non-threats, just collateral damage that didn't need to be finished off. They've neutralized the swordsman, the navigator, and the princess. In their mission report, this would be a success. They see Luffy as just the loudmouth brawler, and Usopp as, well, they probably didn't even notice Usopp.
Another entry in the long, long book of underestimating the Straw Hats and paying for it dearly. They think the fight's over. They think they've won. Bro, the fight hasn't even started. You just knocked out the main character. You know what happens when the main character gets knocked out early? He gets back up and he is pissed.
Meanwhile, as they depart, we cut over to the other giant, Brogy, and the situation is grim.
Grim is putting it lightly. He's completely stuck, frozen in place. Mr. 3 is there, and we see that Brogy is just encased from the waist down in this hard white wax. He can't move a muscle. The visual is so stark, this ancient, powerful warrior reduced to a statue.
And Mr. 3, this man with the hair shaped like a number 3, is just gloating. He has this smug, artistic, almost delicate air about him that is so at odds with the primal setting of Little Garden. He reveals that he was the one who interfered in the duel. He put explosives in Dory's victory drink. He's the reason it exploded.
And you see the look on Brogy's face. It's a masterpiece of character art from Oda. It's not just anger, it's this deep soul-level violation. This guy didn't just help him win a fight, he stole the honor of that victory. He tainted a sacred ritual that has defined Brogy's entire life for the last century.
For 100 years, their entire existence has revolved around this code, a duel between warriors settled honorably every single day, waiting for a clean victory to prove their strength and settle their dispute. Mr. 3 spat on that. He made the last century of Brogy's life and the culmination of his fight with his best friend into a cheap, hollow lie.
That's what makes Baroque works so scummy, so fundamentally different from the pirates we've seen. Even guys like Krieg had a twisted sense of pride in their power. These guys, they don't have a code. They have objectives. They use tricks, bombs, deception, anything to get the job done efficiently. It's the complete opposite of a warrior's duel. It's a corporate hit.
Brogy's rage is righteous. You can see it in his eyes. He's not angry that he had help winning. He's angry that his victory wasn't real, that he defeated a weakened opponent without knowing it. He didn't just beat his friend, he unknowingly dishonored him. That's what he can't forgive. For a warrior of Elbaf, that is a fate worse than death.
And right in the middle of this profound, soul-crushing revelation, who shows up but Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine, dragging Vivi. They present her to Mr. 3 like a prize, like they're just couriers delivering a package for their manager.
Vivi, of course, does not take this sitting down. Even captured, exhausted, and having just seen her friend get blown up, she immediately starts insulting Mr. 3, calling him out on his total lack of morals and his cowardice.
That's our princess. She's got that straw hat fire in her. She's seen what true honor looks like with Dory and Brogy, these two titans fighting for a century over their pride. And now she's face to face with the slimiest, most dishonorable creep yet. She's not afraid to tell him exactly what he is. She represents the moral compass of the arc, and she is unwavering.
It's at this point that Mr. 3 reveals his true plan, and the chapter takes a hard turn into psychological horror. He calls it completing his art collection.
And this is where it gets really, really messed up. He's not just going to kill them. He uses his Doru Goru no Mi, the wax fruit, to create this massive, elaborate candelabra structure that starts dripping molten wax on a platform. It's theatrical and completely insane.
He plans to turn Vivi, Nami, Zoro, and Brogy into living wax figures, preserved forever at the moment of their despair, as trophies for his collection. It's a level of personal cruelty we haven't seen. He doesn't just want to eliminate them as targets, he wants to possess them, to turn them from living beings into objects of his creation.
This is a different kind of evil than we've seen. Arlong wanted to dominate and exploit. Kuro wanted to get rich and retire. Krieg wanted power and status. This guy, he's a psychopath with an art theme. It's so much more personal and twisted. It's about aesthetic and ego. He sees people as his artistic medium.
He even explains the properties of his power, which is a classic villain trope, but here it serves to ratchet up the tension. Once the wax hardens, it's as strong as steel. It adds a very concrete, seemingly insurmountable ticking clock to the situation. They can't just break out.
That detail is so key. It raises the stakes immensely. You can't just punch your way out of steel. And he's got Zoro and Nami on that platform too, already partially coated and totally helpless. Seeing Zoro, a swordsman who can slice apart ships completely immobilized, is terrifying. It tells the audience that normal solutions are off the table.
And it's this when the chapter's title clicks into place. Brogy, hearing all this, seeing his friends in peril, and understanding the depth of the dishonor done to him and Dory, finally understands. He says that at the start of the fight, he knew something was wrong. He felt it. I knew.
He's a warrior. He's been fighting the same man for 100 years. He knows the feel of a true battle. He knows the weight of Dory's axe, the timing of his shield. And his fight today felt hollow. It felt wrong. And now he knows why. His pride wasn't in winning. It was in fighting his friend honorably. Mr. 3 didn't just hurt Dory. He wounded Brogy's very soul.
That realization, that pure, righteous fury, gives him a surge of strength. Even encased in what we've just been told is steel-hard wax, he tries to stand. He roars, not in pain, but in defiance. He tries to fight back for the sake of his honor, for Dory, and for the new friends who are about to suffer a terrible fate because of him.
You can feel the effort. Oda draws these crackling sound effects around him, the sheer force of will it takes. A giant's pride is a powerful thing, but before he can do anything, before he can have that one moment of glorious defiance,
Mr. 5 steps in and just bombs him, a cheap shot on an immobilized opponent who is in the middle of an emotional climax. It's the perfect punctuation mark on their complete and utter lack of honor. It's an act of pure narrative cruelty by Oda, designed to make the reader despise them.
It's pathetic. It's so pathetic. They can only take down these titans with tricks and cheap shots. They can't face them head on. It's infuriating, but it just builds the hype for when Luffy gets there. You are creating a debt of violence that Luffy is going to be more than happy to repay with interest.
And speaking of, the chapter ends by cutting back to Dory's camp, a perfect tonal shift from despair to hope.
Where our boys are waking up. Luffy, Usopp, and Karoo are coming too. They're beaten up. There are bumps all over their heads, but they're alive. And Luffy gets this look in his eyes. The brim of his hat is shadowing his face, but you can see the set of his jaw.
It's the look, the one we saw before he went after Arlong, the calm resolve. The anger has been distilled into pure purpose. He knows what he has to do.
He just says he's going to go beat them up. Simple as that. No grand speech, no complex plan, just a statement of intent. And Usopp and Karoo are right there with him. After a moment of classic Usopp fear, he sees Luffy's determination and something clicks. Usopp declares they're going to fight gallantly to save their friends.
That's a huge moment for Usopp. He has spent this whole arc terrified, overwhelmed by the scale of everything. The giants, the dinosaurs, Baroque works. But watching Dory and Brogy has clearly lit a fire in him. He wants to be a brave warrior of the sea, and this is his chance to live up to the ideals he just witnessed.
The weakling trio is about to march into the heart of the enemy's territory to save the day. Baroque Works has absolutely no idea what's about to hit them. They left the fuse lit on the biggest bomb on the whole island.
They think the fight is over. They have the strong ones captured and the weak ones incapacitated. But for Luffy, Usopp, and Karoo, it's just beginning.
What a way to end the chapter. The stakes are set, the villains are despicable, and the rescue team is on the move. I am so ready for what comes next. Oda is a master of this structure. He builds the prison, shows you how inescapable it is, and then points the unlikeliest key holders right at the front door.
This whole plan of Mr. Three's seems designed to be as psychologically damaging as possible. It's not enough to win. He has to make his victims into art. It's a very specific pathology. He's not just an enemy combatant, he's a serial killer with an artistic pretense.
That's what makes him so hateable. He's not just an enemy combatant, he's a desecrator. He's taking these vibrant, powerful people, a warrior who can cut steel, a navigator who can read the weather like a book, a princess fighting for her country, and trying to turn them into lifeless objects that exist only for his own satisfaction.
It also feels like a commentary on control, which is the central theme of the entire Baroque work saga. The organization is all about manipulation from the shadows, controlling events, controlling people. Mr. Three's power is the ultimate physical manifestation of that. Total physical control, freezing someone in place forever.
And the perfect opponent for that kind of power is Monkey D. Luffy, the freest man on the seas, a guy who can't be held down, who can't be controlled, whose very nature is elasticity and freedom of movement. You can't put that spirit into a wax statue. It'll melt the whole museum. Super!
I think you've been waiting to use that one.
I have. This is the moment. The crew is in danger, a friend's honor has been trampled, and Luffy is about to bring the goddamn dawn. It earns it. This is peak One Piece setup.
It sets up a fascinating confrontation. It's not just about strength. It will have to be about ingenuity. As we were told, the wax is as hard as steel. This isn't a problem Luffy can just punch his way through, not directly.
Right, this isn't a simple brawl. Luffy can punch steel, sure, we've seen him dent Krieg's armor, but can he punch his friends out of it without hurting them? And what about the wax itself? He can't just let it keep dripping all over them while he fights Mr. Three. There's a time limit.
And Nami and Zoro are just stuck. It's rare to see them both so completely incapacitated. Zoro, especially. We're used to him being the unshakable one who can power or cut his way out of just about anything. But here, he's completely caught. It neuters the crew's primary damage dealer.
That's what makes the threat feel so real. If Zoro can't cut it, you know it's serious. It's going to fall to the others. It's gotta be Luffy, Usopp, and Karoo. The B team has to become the A team.
It puts a tremendous pressure on Usopp. He just made that declaration about being a brave warrior. Now he has to back it up, standing next to a force of nature like Luffy against a man who can turn people into steel statues. This is a far cry from fighting fishmen he can outsmart.
This is his moment. This is his Elbaf. He saw what true warriors are, and now he has to put it into practice. He can't lie his way out of this one. He has to stand and fight for his friends. This is where the legend of Captain Usopp begins, for real this time.
It's a perfect crucible for him. The stakes couldn't be higher. The enemy is terrifying in a way that's more about horror than pure power, and his strongest crewmates are counting on him. It's the ultimate test of his dream.
Exactly. A perfect chapter to set the stage for an all-time great Straw Hat rescue mission. Every piece is on the board exactly where it needs to be for maximum drama.
I think so too. Oda's note this week was kind of funny. He said he was writing this on January 19th, and it was about time to send New Year's cards. He calls it finishing what you start.
That's perfect. Oda is a genius even in his author comments. That is exactly what Luffy is about to do. Baroque Works started this, and our captain is going to finish it. He always does.
I think that's a good place to leave the breakdown. This chapter laid out the problem in exquisite, horrifying detail, and now we get to see the solution.
Absolutely. And if you have a resolution to leave a comment on this episode, we'd love to read it. Let us know what you think about Mr. Three's twisted art project. Time for predictions?
Let's do it. You first.
All right, prediction 1. Usopp is going to be the MVP for a very specific reason. Mr. Three's whole wax structure, the candelabra, looks intricate. I'm betting Usopp uses a special ammo type, maybe an oil star or something flammable, to target a specific structural weak point and bring the whole thing down or stop the wax flow. It's a sniper's solution, not a brawler's. Luffy will be the distraction, the frontline fighter, but Usopp will deliver the critical tactical shot.
A precision shot. I like that. It plays to his strengths perfectly and validates his role in the crew beyond comic relief.
Exactly. Prediction 2, Karoo is going to be the transportation. Little Garden is huge. Luffy's fast, but he's not that fast. I think we're going to get an amazing sequence of Usopp and Luffy riding Karoo at top speed through the jungle, dodging dinosaurs, in a race against time to get to the wax house. A true super spot build duck moment. He's not just a pet, he's a vital member of the team.
The fastest duck in the world, showing his quality. Okay, my turn. My first prediction is about a weakness in the wax. Mr. 3 said it's as hard as steel once it solidifies.
Oh, so the key is to deal with it before it hardens.
Precisely. I think the solution will involve fire. I'm predicting Luffy will punch so fast and so repeatedly at the streams of wax that he either melts or ignites them before they can reach Nami and Zoro. It won't be a named attack, but it might be a hint of his potential using friction to create fire.
Using his own body and speed to generate fire? That is a terrifying thought. I love it. It's such a Luffy solution. When in doubt, punch harder and faster. What's your second one?
My second prediction concerns the other missing Straw Hat. We still have no idea where Sanji is. He wasn't captured. I believe he's been shadowing the other Baroque Works agents. Mr. 3 mentioned getting a call from some other agents who confirmed the targets were on the island.
I predict that next chapter we will cut to Sanji, who has found Mr. 3's actual base of operations, or perhaps intercepted a Dendenmushi call from a higher up, and he is going to be the one to learn Mr. Zero's true identity, the Shichibukai crocodile.
The ultimate spy move. While everyone is focused on the big, flashy, evil candelabra, Sanji is playing 4D chess in the background, getting the intel that could win them the entire war in Alabasta. That would be so perfectly Sanji, the cool, calculating strategist balancing out the hot-headed brawlers.
He plays the long game, and that's all I have.
Awesome. That's it for us this week on Inherited Dawn.
We'll see you next time for chapter 122.